Uh, red button's on. That means we are live. Live, guys. We're waiting for a little bit of people to see if anybody's going to join us. We had an eventful day today, very eventful day. As many of you may be tuning in and listening in on our video, um, you may have seen that earlier in the commissioner's court meeting, um, we were mentioned. The Rising Texan News Media, I guess they wanted to give us a little shout out, and we were mentioned during council communications, or I'm sorry, commissioner communications, and there was a story told, of course, that somebody was disappointed about the story that or the article that we ran. Now, one of the things that I do want to clarify right from the get go, from the start, anything that we do put out, of course, is never anything personal with anyone. Okay, let's go ahead and I want to say that first and foremost, as you guys have been seeing that over the past couple of days, we've shared some interesting information, but it's never anything done with ill intent. Whether some people may feel that way, I know how it feels when you're treated or when you feel that you were treated wrongly, but most of the times what we have to think is that if you're doing something wrong, you put yourself in that position. I understand what it is to help feed a family, lead a family, and all that. So I sympathize with that, but just understand it's never anything intentional. It's not that I don't like somebody. I'm really am impartial to people in general, to be honest. And you can ask around. I stick to myself most of the time and everything. And it's not anything personal. This was created for the community to give the best possible situation that our community has unfortunately not been able to have in many recent years. And that's what we're here for, guys. I want to make that as loud as clear as possible, and I hope there is no offense, because there really is no offense to anybody out there. I mean, I just believe that if no other news media source is going to cover this type of things, these type of unseen deals that are happening behind our taxpayers' backs, then hey, all for it. I'm not afraid to let out this information or anything. And most of these guys, as you guys know, I did work with the city of Eagle Pass for many years, with the county and with the city of Del Rio. So many of these people out there right now that still work there, they know me. They know who I am. They've seen me around. Again, it's nothing personal, but I do want to go ahead and get to what we're here for. Now, what we're here for, guys, is a response, because we were called out directly as a news source. I'm not sure if that has ever been done before by any director, which is who it was on the podium. Of course, it was Council Communications that came out, but I don't think anybody has ever been called out like that as far as a news media source. So I think I owed it to everybody just to see where this came about. We did publish an article. It did name three agenda items on the Maverick County Commissioners Court meeting for today, earlier today at 5. So we had questions about three of them. And we were very vocal until Facebook or the county, or I'm not sure about who it was, but we were blocked and we weren't allowed to comment anymore after several comments. If you guys saw the video, you guys were able to see, right? We have our fans out there. Big shout out to Chris Lee Delgado that just loves to read whatever I put out. Big shout out, Lee. Hope you enjoy your job. And we were addressed in the council communications by the I guess now it's evaluation coordinator, formerly a planning director. Before that, worked in Road and Bridge as a secretary. Before that, worked at the landfill secretary. Before that, I worked with her at Public Works, and like I said, it's nothing personal. But there's been a thing to where she's been working out in the county a long time. I worked a long time with the city, so I mean, there's familiarity there as far as whenever we would meet with both entities meeting for any kind of meeting between the two entities, of course. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and like I said, we wrote an article, and it was specifically to 3 items on this agenda. One was including several people were getting moved over. There was another lady that got moved over from Precinct 2, a former candidate, which was the challenger of the incumbent Rosy Cantu, coming over and taking over the position of planning director. And then we also had the final one that we had a question about was the position of Rex Macbeth. And I do want to applaud a big shout out, guys, really for Miss Olga, Precinct 3 commissioner. Just goes to show you how they say it's transparency, that they try hard to give you transparency. But Miss Olga, Precinct 3 commissioner, did not even know they were taking away this employee. Okay. Well, what I'm going to do here, those were the 3 main ones. There might be some other ones we want to touch on. What I tell you guys, our good friend Christopher Lee Delgado doesn't miss one Rising Texan show, doesn't miss an opportunity to comment. And we love when he comments, gives us all a good chuckle and everything. And, it is what it is, right? We're going to go ahead and take you directly to the video, guys. That way, if anybody did not see it, I'll go ahead and play it. That way you guys can take a look. And I can't make this stuff up. This is not anything made up. This is not anything about lying or anything. This is the actual meeting. We're not going to go through all of it. I just want to show the very beginning where the part comes out of the Rising Texan. Sorry, guys, we're on screen there.
County Commissioners Court, special meeting. Today is Tuesday, July 6th, 2020.
How's the volume? Can somebody tell me in the volume if you guys can hear okay? Can you guys hear the meeting going on?
Commissioner Precinct 2, Rosy Cantu, Commissioner Precinct 4, Roy Perez, myself, County Executive. We do have.
How's the sound? Y'all hear?
Under this item, you would ask to put your phones on meeting or silent mode. And under item number 2, recognition of visitors. If there's anyone who would like to address Commissioners Court on any item that may or may not be on the agenda, you can do so at this time. We would ask you to keep your comments to no more than 3 minutes. Is there anyone who would like to address Commissioners Court on any item that may or may not be on the agenda? Over here. Over here. Mr. Cifuentes, go ahead. Please state your name for the court.
Commissioners, Judge.
I'm going to go ahead and stop it here a little bit early. I hope you guys don't hear me so loud since I had to switch back audio. But Tony Cifuentes, we did speak about him earlier in several of our news that we shared with the community. Former Mayor Luis Cifuentes' brother, for just to point it out, I guess. But let's.
I'd like to give a brief update on the amphitheater project. I walked into the office and Linda asked me what that pile of dirt was at the lake. So it's an interesting question, but we've got quite a bit of base out there. We started at 795 elevation and we're up to 820 feet now. So we're 25 feet up. lacking 2 feet to get to the finish line. We're back on schedule. So it's great to know that we've got it back on schedule.
It's great to know that you guys were off of schedule to begin with.
And the stage, they're starting the retaining wall on the north side of the project. So in looking at their
Excuse the technical difficulties here. Is it skipping on your guys' end?
Is working on the restrooms and the stage.
There you go.
They're starting the retaining wall on the north side of the project. So in looking at their timeline and their their schedule of completion, they are also on schedule for completion late October, early November.
Very good.
So we're excited about that.
I have visited with the guys out there, so commend them again. They're doing an excellent job, and I know they've gone above and beyond to make sure they get the project finished as it is. So I do appreciate it.
Here, guys, I want to go ahead and just stop real quick to mention this. A lot of people today were complaining about how on El Indio and Veterans, although it's a TxDOT roadway, a lot of people complained about the flooding that was happening there today. And I've seen pictures. We will be coming out with something, a story for you guys about that. And here's the problem. The amphitheater is a good, solid project. But when you have flooding that has been occurring for so many years, and at the same point, and nothing is being done about it, that is what it just doesn't make sense to build a amphitheater, a $3.5 million amphitheater, when you have over $3.5 million of need out here in our streets. Drainage. There's people all the way down Memo Robinson. There's people all the way down El Indio, let alone the people that are right there, the businesses. It's a big business loss for them when they have water going into their businesses. How can a responsible, and that goes for everybody in that seat, how can you guys, I don't recall the vote. I do want to say it was 4-1, but I do hold responsible the Commissioner's Court, because ultimately Commissioner's Court chose to build an amphitheater rather than address the flooding issues that have been occurring. Yes, TxDOT came out, they made it worse. They made it worse. My problem is that should have been addressed many years ago. I wasn't gonna bring it up just yet, but before I forget, let's bring it up. As many people know, I used to work for the city for quite some time. I started out in the public works department. I was a laborer. For about a year out in the hot sun. I mean, it really it humbled me to I had never worked that way. And over the years, I was blessed by having a good mentor there, and I learned a lot. I learned probably more in the 7 years I was in public works than any regular employee did. And there's a lot of smart ones there. And it's not that it was me, but it was the fact that I had the best mentor with me for 7 years, and those were great 7 years. So going into the story, I had the opportunity to move up finance department, and eventually I got to being the grant administrator for the city. Now, one of the programs that was coming about during my time as the grant administrator with the city was a Colonia project. The Maverick County was not able to apply for funding, or was going to lose the funding because of the recent the recent corruption that had happened. And rather than losing the money for the community, what the city did is they went out and they approached the county. There was a meeting, and there was an understanding that rather than lose this money, the city would administer this project out in the county. And shout out to the brains of that operation, Hector Chavez, back when he was the public works director. Part of that grant was $1 million. 700,000 was going towards drainage. Okay, it was going to go to concrete line, the big channel that you guys see out here on El Indio, next to what was formerly the paint shop, or a paint shop. There's a big canal there. It's an earthen canal with no concrete lining. So 700,000 was awarded, somewhere around that. The city actually went through with making the plans for these, giving us several options of what we can do. Now, there was a problem. There was a lot of houses that encroached. They were encroaching into the public right-of-way, which would be the drainage right-of-way there. As some may know, from a canal, you're supposed to build a certain required length from the channel, right? So there was a lot of houses encroaching into that the canal space. And after he had his discussions with the engineer, that canal should have been made a lot bigger, and there was some houses that were going to have to be bought out. So the figure was potentially high. So there is a meeting made with the county. I don't remember everyone that was there. The one person I do know was there was Jerry Morales, Precinct Commissioner 1, because the project would be in Precinct 1 of the county. The ending of that meeting was that the county did not have funds to complete this project. City was going to administer 700,000 of grant funding that would alleviate the flooding that you guys are having on El Indio. Okay, 700,000 towards that grant, or towards that kind of project. Now, it maybe would not eliminate everything, but when you concrete line a channel rather than leave it earthen, which is just dirt, it helps speed the water go through where it needs to go into drainage, thus not allowing it to elevate. So it does alleviate flooding. Whether it'll alleviate the flooding we have now, that I don't know. I am not an engineer. But there was a potential to do this project. Years later, we're here talking about an amphitheater. And these are all facts, guys. First account facts. I was in these meetings. I participated in these meetings for the fact that I was the grant administrator, and I had a great mentor in Mr. Chavez that taught me pretty much everything I do now. Not the new stuff, right? Saying news, getting on all this stuff. I don't think he would want any credit for that. But why are we talking about an amphitheater? Why are we funding an amphitheater when we have people here losing their vehicles? I saw many pictures, and we'll release a lot of these pictures to you guys either tonight or tomorrow. And we're talking about an amphitheater while people's houses, businesses are losing items every single time we get a heavy rain, guys. Every single time we get a heavy rain. Sorry, didn't mean that's not part of the show just yet, but let's go ahead and go on.
I want to thank the crew from Road and Bridge. They're doing an excellent job.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else who would like to address the court? We ask you to keep the comments to no more than 3 minutes. Anyone? Ms. Rodriguez, please go ahead.
You guys want to pay attention to this? Everybody, y'all can hear?
Hello, my name is April Rodriguez, Evaluation Coordinator for the SNAP Ed DSHS project, previous Maverick County Planner. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you very much for your time today. I would like to take advantage of this opportunity to speak, not on behalf of Maverick County, but for myself. Specifically, I would like to speak about an article posted by the Rising Texan about item number 6 on Commissioner's Court today. The article states that I have, and I quote, bounced around from being involved in the EOC during the pandemic, and that I have graciously recused myself. Furthermore, it alleges that I was not easy to work with and that I might have enabled selected residents to get a vaccine before others during the mandated dates, and that I may have recused myself from my position at the EOC. Today, I have chosen to speak against the people that use me for their political gain to go against my boss, Maverick County Judge David Saucedo. I would like for the public to know that I am confirming for those that ask that I did not enable selected residents to receive a vaccine before any others. In fact, my family was some of the last individuals to get theirs. The public that has dealt with me knows that I have tried to assist every person, whether known or unknown to me, on every occasion that I have been asked. Furthermore, I'd like to state that I have not recused myself from my position at the Emergency Operations Center, and that as I transition, I am still currently working with previous staff to continue vaccinations and funding that will soon be available to the community that has been affected by COVID-19. I have not bounced around my duties, they have only grown. I have tried my best to assist the county and the county judge where there's a need, even if they are outside of my normal duties. I will state that working during the pandemic was awfully stressful, and I do apologize if I was not easy to work with during that time. Thank you for this time that you've allowed me to address the public. I apologize if you can hear the nervousness in my voice. False rumors have been circulating around social media for years, and I usually do not speak about the facts. I will now change my hat and speak to you as an employee of the county. I would like to introduce the SNAP Ed Community Outreach Specialist and Community Health Workers. Maverick County, I say to you, I look forward to continue to assist you as permitted, and I consider myself to be a hard worker, so please rest assured that I will fulfill my obligation to you as I have before. Sergio Morales, would you please stand? He is one of our selected community health workers. Jacqueline Vasquez is our second community health worker. And we have Erica Guerrero as our outreach specialist.
Welcome.
Okay, good.
We're excited to have you here.
Very excited to have you guys on board. It's going to be a great project. First time the county's done it. I know that you guys are going to do your best.
Now, guys, real quick. Out of those people there, I really do hope that the county has done their due diligence and done background checks on those people. It's very important, especially when you deal with grant funding. Like several grant funds that I dealt with before, that certain people could not. There was a lot of clauses in there that people cannot be violating certain laws, maybe like drug offenses or what have you, anything like that. One thing I will ask is if there has been a background check on these people out there. Not anybody in particular, but I mean, coming from grant funding, you have to be careful. So, maybe we would want to secure that there is no buddy being investigated. There's no wrongdoing amongst these people because they're getting very high dollar pay. They're getting, most of the salaries they're getting paid are higher than the average that most people do in the private industry here, and I understand small business, but they should be held to a standard working for Maverick County. And hey, I'd like to see if they're going to do any background checks on these people, or if they're getting investigated by anybody, or anything like that. My personal speaking on that part.
And we know you're going to do your best. So if we can do this, it's always good for Maverick County, more benefits for our community. And especially it feels so good when the money comes from grant funding and not local funding. So It's always good. So congratulations and welcome aboard. Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address Commissioners Court on any item that may or may not be on?
Let me go ahead and fast forward for you guys so we can get to the next.
Item 4, a discussion of possible action allowing the Maverick County Sheriff's Office to submit renewal.
Is there,
Whoa,
I'm sorry, but I missed the amount.
that looks like a familiar.
Set amount, sir. It's just whatever they offer in disposition. So it's an actual inventory. So, but you're asking about the amount of rifles?
On a topic of nepotism,
And that, this is a,
how does that? Wait a minute. That's County Judge David Salcedo, and that's his brother, Nacho Ignacio Salcedo. Okay. But this topic is not about him. Sorry about that.
No, sir. No, sir.
Let's move along.
We're using the same rifles.
And I think the sheriff was out. He was sick. I think he mentioned. Sheriff, on behalf of the Rising Texan Sheriff, we hope you get better, Sheriff.
Send his regards. We apologize.
I hope he gets better. Do we have a motion for that?
Some of them.
Motion.
I think this is where it's coming up, guys. Bear with me, and I appreciate all of the 99 that are watching
Both same sign, motion carries.
because this is very important for us constituents, us
Item
voters,
6.
to know what's going on.
Discussion of possible action on the request to hire April Ruiz as evaluation coordinator, salary $58,000 yearly, effective June 24, 2021. Erica Guerrero as community outreach specialist at a salary of $45,000 yearly, effective June 29, 2021. Jacqueline Vasquez, effective June 24, 2021. And Sergio Morales, effective July 6, 2021. As community health workers at a salary of $36,000 yearly for the
Community
SNAP
health.
Healthy Communities Initiative grant. Do we have a motion for that?
Some of them.
Motion by Commissioner Cantu, or second? Second by Ms. Ramos. We're in discussion.
Let's get this argument in. Let's
Yes, sir.
see.
Go ahead.
I have some questions. Is there any kind of backup information on this one?
You were given backup back in November, and then we redid it back when? What was the changes that they made? January. Yeah, Commissioners Court voted on it, so you got your backup then.
Would you explain, I guess, to the public and to me, why not? What is the SNAP program?
Yes, so the SNAP education program is aimed to lower the rates of obesity and chronic diseases in Maverick County. So it's ultimately stretching the SNAP benefit dollar to those residents that receive those funds and to help them make smarter choices.
These funds are grants, government grants.
This program.
And with these positions, Mr. Sanchez, were they advertised?
They've been advertised since November. Even, I think, Mr. Sanchez.
Go ahead, Ms. Sanchez.
Yes, sir. There are 4 positions here.
Yes, sir.
Were they,
So right before they ask, I mean, how do you not know how many times has this been advertised if you are actually going to apply or be placed in this position? It seems to me, I don't know if there was any applicant process. Right now, you're going to hear them say about a November date, and then something like a week before. Catch it, guys.
advertised?
Yes, they were advertised since November, and we just closed advertising about a week ago.
2 times? In
And
how many months?
who decides the amounts, the salaries?
Those is part of the grant, because they say this grant is a combination of Maverick County and the, you're gonna have to help me with the name.
Department of State Health Services.
Department of Health.
ESHS.
And based on, in fact, the salaries came from them, because specifically Erica Guerrero, and she gave us the salaries.
No, the one that sent them to you, Erica Guerrero, the person that was hired.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's Guevara.
Guevara.
Esmeralda
Sorry,
Guevara is the
Erica.
one that sent us all.
Guys, let me tell you this. I wrote grants for many years. Not once did a grant say, Mr. Ruiz is going to get paid this much. Grants do not determine how much you get paid. They can offset your pay. They can completely cover your pay. But I'm sorry, grants, it's like saying another agency, a state agency, is going to tell a local agency, this is what you have to pay. Now, we do have minimum standards, but this is not a minimum standards type of deal, 58,000. There, I'm sorry, that is not truthful to the community, because the grants do not decide, or the grant personnel does not decide who gets paid. I'm sorry. For our area, there is a scale mostly used in construction. They're called whenever you're doing force account projects, that yes, there's a federal mandate, which is called Davis-Bacon. And those are more than anything geared towards construction. Now, I can almost guarantee you that these grant, whoever funded these grant, the Department of Human Health Services did not dictate to them how much they would get paid. And if they did, I challenge them to produce a letter with the letterhead of DHS saying, we chose these salaries, which you will not be able to see, because, like I said, it would have been great if grants would have said, hey, Isaac, you deserve this much. Let's pay you a big chunk, just like that. But unfortunately, it does not work that way. And they're not being truthful with the community.
Guevara.
And the highest salary here is $58,000. That's for the evaluation coordinator. So what is the role of the evaluation coordinator?
No job description.
Project, it consists of a committee. The committee will be directing us what projects to start so we can lower the rates of obesity and chronic diseases. Based on that information, the CHWs will then conduct surveys to see if that project is working. We'll transcribe the information from verbal data to numerical, and then we'll present it to the committee, and they'll either change or modify what it is that we are doing, our activities.
Is this a permanent department or program in
No.
Maverick County?
Our current contract is only for a year and a half.
1 year.
1 year and a half.
But it can be extended to an additional 2 years.
Guys, it sounds a lot like what she is going to be working at. Sounds like a job for a nutritionist. Now, this is a great time to bring out the United Medical Centers, who already employ a great nutritionist, a personal friend of mine, Manrique Fuentes. He's a living example of what you can do being a nutritionist. It kind of seems like they're doubling on that job. What I wonder is, could there have been another way to use this type of grant funding? Because, we have a WIC center that does great. Couldn't a UMC that has experience doing these types of projects with the WIC and everything that they do out there, wouldn't it have made sense for them to be able to take, being that they're in the medical field? I'm not sure what the presenter here, how good she is as far as medical nutrition or anything like that. But if it's about nutrition for my kids, I would want somebody that is qualified to be and have that kind of nutritionist type of thing to tell us why we were obese and everything. I mean, like I said, the UMC already has one. I do want to do a quick shout out, guys, while I got to pause here real quick. I'm wearing the shirts of our sponsor, Rodriguez Consulting and Services. We thank you for the shirt. He's been nothing but a stand-up guy, one of our biggest sponsor contributors. We wanted to go ahead and shout out to him personally while we have you guys out here. He sent us a nice little shirt, some pens and everything like that. He's been great. You guys have some business needs, want to grow your business, want to take care of your taxes, notary public, what you need for your business, Rodriguez Business and Consulting, guys. Hit them up. Now back to where we are in the video, guys.
SHS sold chooses.
Do we have a total amount of what the grant is for?
Yes, we had already presented that information back in January and again in March, I believe was the last time that we presented it. And starting off since November, we've had multiple items regarding the budget for this.
Based that it's a grant situation, is that portion coming from the county?
We're actually getting funds from DSHS for administering this grant.
We've got an administrative fund coming. So the taxpayer is not affected locally. It's a grant that comes from. Everybody who's applied is aware of that. We also know, though. that
Judge
you guys
to the
do such an
rescue.
excellent job that they're gonna renew it. So we're not used to seeing failure here. County has done an excellent job. And these people that
A
you see up here
commissioner
are
is
part of that.
watching the Las
And
Quintas
since
one.
we've
He's a fan.
Come a long way. We haven't really de-obligated anything. If anything, we've added on. So when we hired you guys, we know that you guys are going to make sure that program sticks around.
One last question here. I'm glad it's a grant, and best of luck to the group here. Each and every position in this.
Guys, real quick, because I don't know if you guys caught the fact that Judge Salcedo just said that they have never deobligated anything. Now, not too long ago when we had vaccines, being the hardest hit a city area by COVID, we had Judge Salcedo and former Mayor Cifuentes deobligating vaccines. Okay? They deobligated a certain amount of vaccines and they said it was voluntarily deobligated. Being one of the hardest hit places as a leader of a community, I would not want to deobligate any vaccines, whether it gets it. The point is that you're here for your community. You're here to fight for your community. Why would you be deobligating vaccines? It does not make sense to deobligate vaccines unless there were important, unless there was a need elsewhere. Of course, everybody got their portion, but we were the hardest hit city. We were one of the hardest hit cities. Why deobligate vaccines? That's a great question that I think Judge, and I'll take this as a personal invitation now, Judge David Salcedo, if you would ever like to come on the Rising Texan News and explain us some of these moves that you've done, we have an open invitation, you brother. It doesn't have to be on a Wednesday. Today's not a regularly scheduled show, but the planning director or evaluation coordinator did mention our news, and we felt it was only fair that our public notice what the truth is that's actually going on, right? And give you guys our version as we always do. Let's go ahead and get back. I don't want to keep you guys too long, and we appreciate all of y'all that are tuning in.
Department section was advertised.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like I stated way back in November when it initially came to Commissioner's Court for approval, not only of the grant itself, but also the positions. We're coming before Commissioners Court out of courtesy and out of just to be open with the community, with the Commissioners Court, that, this is what we're doing, this is where we're at.
Yeah, so just gonna reimburse.
In other words, in reality, sir, you already voted on this item sometime back.
Oh.
The court did. I brought it for posterity purposes, for transparency purposes.
Judge Salcedo loves to be Superman, doesn't he?
I asked Mr. Sanchez to put it on there, so you'll be aware of the changes. You voted on it. The only one that didn't vote on it was Ms. Cantu because she was absent for that.
For the whole personnel.
You did vote for it, sir. So just so you'll know, but I said, you know what? I don't want any, there's going to be some changes in the offices. I want the public to know, and I want the court to know these are the changes.
Well, see,
So technically speaking, this item didn't have to come back to the court, but I brought it.
Well, it's good to have.
I find it funny how he says this was brought up. Now, you guys know we're regular readers of these agendas, and when we do have items that we feel the public should know or something is kind of off, we bring it up. And it's funny the way he speaks about transparency. Watch a little bit more of the video of the meeting, and we'll talk about that transparency right there.
So the community knows which way we're going, how the money is being spent, even though it is a grant. Thank you.
April, where will you be working out of this? Do we have?
It's gonna be 1152 Ferry Street.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The Suite D.
Okay. Perfect.
And we also had Commissioner support prove that you all would be working out of Suite D. And the Economic Development Coordinator that came in from out of town is also working in Suite D.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, April. Thank you for the excellent.
Who's the Economic Development Coordinator that came out?
Questions or comments?
Judge, I just want to state that in reference to this item, this is the third time, and this is as most transparent as we can be. We're stating salaries, we're stating start dates.
Listen to this, please.
Employees that have been presented. The item, if I can recall correctly, was presented in November, advertised in November, was presented again at the late January, and then this is the third time. So, this court has been as transparent as can be. And I think we owe to everyone sitting here, the excellent work that Ms. Rodriguez has been doing and Mr. Sanchez and bringing this to us. And here's how you should present it, and here's how it should look to the public. So I just want to take the time and make that statement.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Welcome.
You guys are going to do good. I'm excited.
Yes.
They picked some good people. They were all good applicants, but you guys are going to do good.
Pressure.
I mean, that's exactly what I meant by the statement. It was pressure. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed by the same sign, motion carries unanimous. Yes. You guys can be excused if you want. About the celebrate, you guys got to work tomorrow. All right. Item 7, discussion and possible action to transfer Ariana Perez, assistant to the county judge, to the position of county planner, effective June 30th, 2021, and no salary change. Do we have a motion for that?
Some of them.
Motion by.
That was quick.
Is there a second?
Second, Judge.
Second by Commissioner Morales. We are in discussion. Any
Yes, sir.
questions? Go ahead, sir.
At the point here, there's no change, no salary change. What does it mean?
That means that Adriana Perez will continue with the $45,136 that she's earning right now.
And what did the position of county planner had previous to her? How much?
50,000, 100 plus.
So how come she's not getting the 50,000?
Ms. Perez hasn't been here as long as the other individuals in the county. You usually work your way up to that. When Ms. Rodriguez started as county planner, she started at 39,000.
But not always. It hasn't always happened that way, that they work the way up. It's just what it says here, it's no salary change. I was taken to the fact that I felt that it was going to be the same salary.
If you want to make that amended motion, I'll accept it.
You want her
Would
to
you like
make
to
50?
amend the motion?
Yes?
Okay, we have an amended motion by Commissioner Ruiz that the salary be whatever the county planner salary is right now.
whatever you was budgeted, 50,000.
Something to that effect.
I'll accept that we have an amended motion by Commissioner Ruiz. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Morales. We are in discussion. Any questions or comments?
Judge and Commissioners, I've seen a lot of progress in that department. I've seen the county planner today, Ms. Perez, being more active and proactive, more meticulous. And I sincerely feel that you should be making what we're addressing now. Thank you.
As do I, and I concur. Item 11 that we're going to discuss later on has a lot to do with the fact that you have brought some things to light that maybe the court should be different. So I'm very, and if you want to do that, we've got a first and a second. I don't oppose that at all. Do we have any other questions? Yes, sir. Mr. Valdez, are you trying to give us a hard time? Just got a guy to finally give a motion.
He
here.
just wants us to repeat the numbers.
All right, at the salary that the county planner has. Okay. I'm just messing with you.
The judge really needs to stop messing around with people, first of all. Now, guys, for many of y'all that do not know the background as far as this may go, Adriana Perez, I did put it in the article. Adriana Perez actually ran against Rosie Cantu. She ran against Rosie Cantu in the last election. I did put out the numbers in our article. Let me see if I wrote them down here. I believe I may have. But it was a rather very, very close race between Ariana Perez and Rosie Cantu. So my question is, what do you do to your biggest Ariana? I'm sorry. Thank you, Marta Ruiz, for correcting me. Ariana Perez. What is the biggest thing you can do to avoid somebody running against you? Offer them a job? I mean, I know she was working out in precinct 2, and that's, all fine and dandy. Like I said, she came very close to knocking off Miss Rosie Cantu. It's just, or maybe Ariana wanted to run. Maybe Ariana was thinking of running, and now given a just raised salary of $50,000, not to run. Or, hey, you got 800 and something votes that the county judge can definitely use, and Rosie Cantu, and I believe we named them the political machine out there. Yes, Juan Luna, we need someone to run against Rosie. The thing is that Ariana Perez was the one that came close to knocking off Rosie Cantu this last election. If you guys didn't catch that, she just ran. I'm sorry, I'm getting caught up by the comments. The comments are now throwing out Gloria Hernandez into this, and that's something that might be very interesting, because yes, Gloria Hernandez was public enemy number 1 of David Salcedo, and then she turned around and endorsed David Salcedo, turned around, received a contract by the county for special projects manager, and was also the county attorney. We are currently looking into that, and into that situation of receiving multiple checks from the county. So that can't be good, right? Again, so guys, before we get off topic, that's what I wanted to show, what these movements that are being done, what's happening with this.
She's already in that position.
Okay, perfect. We have a first and a second. Any more discussion, questions, or comments? All those in favor?
All these people were already in position before they came out and voted on this.
Item
guys.
8, a discussion of possible action to transfer Rex Macbeth, water plant assistant, to the position of assistant to the county judge effective June 30th, 2021. No change in salary. Do we have a motion for that?
I know that.
Motion by Commissioner Cantu, is there a second?
Second, Judge.
Second.
You see the pattern on these firsts and seconds and these quasi whatever you want to call these items, right? You see how who always gives the first, who always gives the second. There's a big topic here. Rex Macbeth, of course. He is the person they're talking about, and is also the owner, as per website, of the Eagle Pass newsletter. Has been working for the county for many years, and is also the owner, from what we understand, of course, by reading their website, of the Eagle Pass newsletter. So I think our next step will be requesting public records for the newspapers that are on county payrolls. I think that would be appropriate to bring up next. But let's roll with this.
By Commissioner Morales, we are in discussion.
So, once again here, Mr. Sanchez, no change in salary. He's carrying, but this position is not, we haven't seen this position before. This is the new position.
No, that position, that's where Roddy was, you know. with the
That was her
council.
position. Okay,
No, it's an existing position in the budget.
it's in the budget.
Yes.
It's budgeted. Okay, so how much is his salary now that the assistant to the county judge?
Well, it's the same salary that he's making right now.
And how
That
much is
was
that?
making. It's 45,412.
Yeah, so just to clarify, it's on the reimbursement.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments?
No, my only concern with that is he worked under my department, under precinct 3, is that correct, Mr. Sanchez?
That's correct.
Okay. I didn't get a notice, fax, email, precinct 3, is that correct, Mr. Sanchez? Phone call, personal, verbal, that he was being transferred, and I have an issue with that nobody notified me that he was being transferred from my department to another department. And professional courtesy, I don't have a problem. I've been working very well with Mr. Macbeth. I don't have a problem with the transfer. The only concern I have is that nobody notified me. I found out through an employee that he was getting transferred when I was out of town. I called you and you said you gotta receive the phone call.
You know, and I'm gonna go ahead and take that as an error on my part, because I think Human Resource Department should have informed you, regardless, you know, now that you're bringing it up, yes, you're right. And I guarantee you it's not gonna happen again. And I apologize for not informing you.
Just professional courtesy.
No, I understand, and you're right, okay?
Thank you. That's it. I just wanted to make a note. I didn't know that somebody else could come and room employees just like that. But thank you. I just wanted to make a note, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez.
And I understand, and I appreciate you bringing it up. Thank you.
Transparency. Now, wasn't a certain commissioner talking about transparency just right now? Wasn't there a big deal that we're being so transparent the county cannot be any more transparent? And we have our county commissioner, precinct 3, from what I've seen, honestly, has been doing what needs to be done. She is letting us know transparency does not even exist within Commissioner's Court. She just told us right now that she was not informed of this transfer. Now, anywhere you go, how is that even possible? How is that possible? How can that even be done? They take away your employee and you find out through another employee that that employee is being transferred to the judge's office. Now, who dropped the ball? HR? Or is this something that County David Judge Salcedo did without the courtesy of letting his commissioner know? I mean, it's and I know you 80 viewers. We had a little over 100 a while ago. I know you guys come here not to watch me talk, watch me do anything. The important thing here is the message that is being sent, that the community here is tired of these types of things. And the thing is somebody needs to show what is actually going on in these meetings. Now, we saw the last time when David Salcedo called one of the commissioners clowns and threatened Miss Olga Ramos. Right now, I want to give a big shout out to Commissioner Precinct 3, Olga Ramos, for not only having the courage as a woman, being threatened by the judge previously in previous meetings. She has been threatened by him before. And then after that, she comes by and says, hey, stands up for her right as a commissioner to know when her employees are being moved, changed, asking for that professional courtesy, that professional transparency that obviously does not exist. I got another one for you. Transparency. Jerry Morales. Can you tell us about, since you're all about transparency, Mr. Commissioner Morales, Precinct 1, what about the deal with Piedras Negras Tortilla Factory has with the jail currently providing tortillas for the jail? Have you come out as a commissioner to be transparent that your co-owned business provides the tortillas for the jail? I think that's something that has not been, and if I did miss it on another meeting, I apologize for that, but we have learned that there is a deal in place where Piedras Negras Tortilla Factory, which you have made very public that that's your business, that they provide the tortillas or possibly a contract, and we will be requesting that information to get proof of this. But how does that happen as a commissioner that you do not come out and say, hey, I mean, I don't want to say it could be a conflict of interest, whether it's legal or not. I am not an attorney, but I would like for a commissioner that is saying he's transparent to be transparent with the community. And I think more than anything, it does not make you any less of a commissioner, but it does not resonate with the transparency voice that you are trying to tell everybody here in our community. Okay, number one, the Piedras Negras. Thank you, Helen Martinez Morales. It is not owned by Commissioner Morales. Okay. We may have been confused by all the times that he comes out in the stuff. We've seen him working there. He may be a co-owner, or maybe he might be heavily involved in there. But I'm assuming that you are agreeing that there is a contract in place with that establishment. So, okay, and thank you for correcting us, because anytime we are incorrect, we do recognize, hey, that is not owned, but that is something that we can look at that is public, and we will be looking at that further. But we thank you, Helen, for bringing us a response. We appreciate that. Okay, well, guys, another thing that I do want to bring to light, going along with I am not, how do I say this? It's nothing personal again. I think we're done here with the three things that we wanted to show, you guys. And because we did write an article about it, and the only reason why we'll look into it, Helen, don't worry about it. These were claims that were brought forth by a confidential informant. That's why we are asking about the transparency to it. You do not provide for any county. We will check up on that. We will definitely check up and we'll report back. And if we're wrong, we will totally come out and say that we were. Absolutely. So we'll go ahead and see who has been providing the tortillas to the jail. We'll take a look at that, and we appreciate you responding, because I think it shows that you are trying to be transparent, and it shows that you are trying to respond, and we appreciate that. And so we'll go ahead and move on from that topic, Helen. But we will be looking into it, and maybe my source is wrong. And if my source is wrong, well, that's the last time we'll be using that source. But we will look into who are the owners, and we will be looking into whether they provide any county entity or any jail, sheriff's office, because the jail does fall under the sheriff's office. We will be looking at that very closely. But thank you, Helen. We appreciate the response. There's a lot of people that we bring stuff up and they don't respond. So, hey, we do appreciate that, right? All right. Well, guys, we'll go ahead and great question. Great question. We're going to get to the bottom of it. Like I said, I have a confidential source. This confidential source has provided many of the leads that we have followed up. And maybe I was a little forward in bringing it out, and I should have thrown out the documents before I said anything. My thing just comes from the transparency that our county our county commissioner in precinct 1 talks about having so much transparency, when our county commissioner of precinct 3, Olga Ramos, doesn't even know where her employees are being transferred to. Maybe I got carried away with that one. We will be investigating, like we mentioned to Helen. And yes, Julie, like I said, this show is not to show any disrespect to anybody. This show is not about that. This show is about the community, and what the community needs is transparency, real transparency. And there's nothing against Helen. There's nothing against her husband. There's nothing against Jerry Morales. There's nothing against Judge Saucedo or Miss Rosie Cantu or Olga Ramos or Roberto Ruiz. There is nothing personal against these people. No matter if whoever tries to convince you that of anything, other than that, it is nothing personal. Whatever's happened in the past, between it's, water under the bridge. But whenever the thing is that you are being evasive with the community, is one thing that I cannot stand, is that how can you do that? Now, this will be the last and the most interesting thing, guys. And one of the claims that I made in the county commissioner's court, one of the claims that I made in the county commissioner's court meeting during the chat, which eventually, whether it was Facebook or the page of the Maverick County that blocked me, I haven't figured that one out yet. But one of the claims that I did make was that during my time with the county, guys, I was a grant director for the sheriff's office. So my boss directly was Sheriff Smurber. He was my boss directly. Now, a couple of months into my tenure with the sheriff, I was approached by some commissioners and the county judge to assist the county planner's office as interim planning director or interim county planner, whatever the position is. So as the interim planning director and doing full-time grants for the sheriff, I was in contact with this young lady, the events coordinator or evaluation coordinator, by phone. I was told that she would call me on the phone whenever she needed something done here locally. Now, I was always told she was not employed by Maverick County at the time. That was my understanding. Yet I would receive phone calls from her directly. I would receive text messages from her directly, and I would receive emails from her directly. Now, these emails in the beginning were friendly. These texts were friendly. And eventually they did turn very micromanaging type of thing. The type of thing where, hey, you have not done this, you need to go do this for me now. And my response was always that I have a full-time grant director job with the county Maverick County Sheriff's Office, and my boss is the Maverick County Sheriff. So I will direct my workload as I see necessary, being that I have experience. I had just come from the city of Del Rio, being their grant writer, and before being the grant administrator for the city of Eagle Pass. So now I'm getting these kind of messages from this young lady. Going on, long story short, I was in her office. I would be in her office every afternoon because that was the instruction given to me. In the mornings, I'll be with the sheriff. In the afternoons, I'm going to be in the planning department in her office to make sure her local duties got completed. Again, we were under the impression she was no longer employed by the county. This is what I've heard directly, verbatim, from the county judge's mouth himself. There was a trip that we took up to Seguin, me and him, where we talked about fantasy football. Now, Judge, if you're watching, I think I'm a way better fantasy football player than you are, but that's besides the point. While we were up there, there were several times that we met with the planners up there. It was the office, let me see, HUD office, if I believe, and we were discussing getting a loan towards the power plant in, I want to say precinct 3, precinct 2. It was a couple of years back, guys. And every time they spoke, like, oh, what happened to April? Oh, she's no longer employed, but she keeps in close contact and everything and this and that. Okay. So I was always under the impression she wasn't employed. Now, one payday that I was in her office, one payday, they're passing out the checks. I see a check that gets landed on the desk. Now, it doesn't come in an envelope. It doesn't come closed or sealed or anything. It's there on the edge of the desk. And, I guess I happened to glance by and noticed she was getting paid a cell phone stipend. Not an employee of the county, but was getting a cell phone stipend. Now, I want to say it was maybe $100, $200, not too sure of the amount. But what caught my eye more than anything was that her benefits were getting paid through that cell phone stipend. So it wasn't necessarily going to T-Mobile, Sprint, Verizon. This cell phone stipend was covering the benefits that she was receiving. Now, that is a very clever way to allow someone to leave and keep your tenure, keep your benefits there. So this stipend, and she did answer back, because I did raise the question on it. And I'll go ahead and read her response, because I tried to respond to her and I couldn't, because by this time I was already blocked. Again, I don't know by Facebook. I don't know about Maverick County, but I was blocked. April Marie. Hi, Isaac. This is all public record. The cell phone stipend was $100 a month. That was to ensure the planning department was still fulfilling its obligations to its residents. I was still working while I was in San Antonio. I was just not getting paid for the hours I worked because I was not physically there to punch in or out, which is what our auditor required. I still had deadlines to meet residents to attend to. The $100 stipend was to have the office calls forwarded to my cell phone so I could properly respond to the community needs, even if I wasn't being paid. My question, that was her response. My question to everybody, what employer that handles taxpayer money would allow an employee to leave, but will pay her $100 stipend to make sure work gets done? She must have forgotten that I was doing the favor as the interim planning director, covering everything she could not do here locally that she needed to get done here locally. Now, you tell me, do you think that your employer would allow you to leave? How many ever months it may have been, would your employer allow you to leave, pay you for a cell phone just to stay in touch with the residents? That's one heck of a benefit I would love to have. Let me tell you. I mean, and I saw it with my own eyes. We're looking for the picture as we speak. I have a friend of mine, because I do save all my pictures to the cloud. So I'm trying to look for the picture of the check. Since it was open, it's not a violation of anybody's privacy if things are open there and you're the interim planning director. So my thing is how is this allowed to happen? Getting paid $100 for a stipend to continue to work, and you're not physically here. Maybe if the planning director was physically here, they could see the problem that's going down on El Indio, where people's houses and businesses are flooding. I mean, and I mean, I got to hand it to it. It was a very clever way of keeping tenure, because those $100 did not go to Verizon, did not go to Sprint. Where they did go was to cover her benefits. Now, if your benefits are getting paid, that means that you're still accumulating your time in position. You know, you're with TML, TMRS, the insurances, or whatever insurance they have. They might not have that one. They're allowed to, you know, it's like if they're given a type of FMLA, except this was not an FMLA case, you know? So those benefits were getting paid by the stipend, which allowed, I mean, I don't know, she left. I don't know how long. Like I said, I was there for a brief time, under a year. And I'll be honest with you guys, the reason why I left the county, because I resigned from the county through counsel that I got with commissioners that were there, and other employees that were there against, you know, I had the sheriff come out to my home and ask me, hey, what's going on? I told him I had gone to the county judge's office, and I, you know, I was going to resign. And the main reason was because of the wrongful doing, or something looked sketchy. And another one was that this is verbatim. Now, I had a message that, you know, the mother of my children, she was right there with me when I got the message, and she read it, where she asked me, the planning director, that she was going to ask to verify my hours. That she was going to request me to start verifying my hours, that if I was actually working at the planning department. And I was a very chill guy. I didn't really let it get to me. But as soon as, you know, someone else saw it, there was a fire lit, because who was verifying your hours? Who was verifying the planning director's hours while getting paid this stipend? So, yeah, I had to start logging in my hours, because apparently the judge wanted me to. And that's when I made a decision, and it was a tough one, to leave the security of making decent money. But there's nothing in this world like freedom. I'll say that again. There's nothing in this world like having freedom of choice, freedom from tyranny, freedom from having to owe somebody because they help you with a job or anything like that. I mean, I do not have any, you know, any of that. And the thing is that things are done incorrectly here in Maverick County and the city of Eagle Pass. And I would even say possibly up at the state level. And, you know, nobody put me up to do this. I wear my sponsor's shirt, of course, because he believes in us, Rodriguez Consulting and Services. He believed in us and our news and what we're doing here to help us. And he's been, he's one of the biggest supporters monetary wise for our channel. I'll say that. And we support him wholeheartedly as well as our other sponsors, our Wagon Wheel. You know, they're always regularly helping us out. Eat Fit Eagle Pass is always helping us out with funding to help this movement keep on going and going. We also have sponsors that have helped us, from Carl Kidd from Tint Masters, Snack Masters, best snacks in town, guys. And you know, these countless of sponsors that have been taking care of us, and we appreciate y'all. And that's how we show our sponsors. You know, he gave us a shirt, so we appreciate him very much. We know he's watching, so thank you. And the rest of our sponsors, of course, Billy Perez, that has not missed one of our shows. Tit Masters doesn't miss any of our shows. Paco, Selena, Paola out there in the wagon wheel, they don't miss too many shows of ours as well. So, we thank you guys for coming out, listening to what we had to say. It's very important you guys know what is going on in this community. And that is the main reason, not also, we have to say a very huge shout out, guys, while we have y'all here watching. First Choice Home Medical Supplies. There's no choice like First Choice Home Medical Supplies. Make sure to hit them up. They've been watching our shows, taking care of us, watching our backs as we do with them. And we appreciate the love that they send us all the time. And, we got much love for you guys back. So there's no choice like First Choice, guys. First Choice Home Medical. Watch them out here, South Veterans. Whatever y'all need, they got y'all. Home Medical Supplies. Now, guys, I want to thank y'all for joining. At one point, we had over 100 people watching live, and I thank you on the gracious of God that you guys come and give me a reason to speak my truth. This is my truth, and I always try to bring my boy Aframael. You know what you did today, Aframael. We appreciate you. Martinez Barbershop. You guys make sure stop by, and Eitzen. They're ready for you any time of the day. Hit them up, guys. They'll be ready for you. Get nice, cleaned up. They'll take care of y'all at Martinez Barbershop on Eitzen Road, Aframael. Thanks for what you did today, brother. Thank you for what you did today. Guys, those are our sponsors. And if you're interested in sponsoring with us, we come with the truth. We bring you nothing but the facts. We're going to look into a lot of the things that we said here, guys. And we'll report back to you. You guys hold us accountable. You guys are a community. We want transparency, true transparency, and we will continue to do so. And those people that have supported us, I mean, it may be a small bunch, but that small bunch has been strong enough to keep us going, keep us walking, keeping our chest poked out, and making us feel like we're making a difference here with grassroots efforts. So we appreciate y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's about an hour and a half. I don't like to keep y'all too much. We are working in the deal, guys. We're working a deal out with a new a nonprofit that has come out, a mental health awareness nonprofit. I'm talking with the owner as we speak, the one who brought it about. And we're looking at bringing you guys some different types of podcasts, some different type of video, not just news videos, not just the interviews that we do here. As you guys know, I can talk and talk and talk. So we got a lot to say, and hopefully you guys can join us and in our other pages that we're planning to bring out. Don't like to reveal too much, but we are working with a mental health awareness nonprofit. We have sent out invites for you guys to like, so we would appreciate it if you guys can help us out in donations. And what that's going to do is assist people that are dealing with mental health issues that may not have a revenue source, or people to talk to, or doctors to see, or people to help out with prescriptions or anything like that. We are here to raise mental health awareness, as it is the number one thing that we need to be pushing here locally, statewide, and nationally. I'm a firm believer of that. And guys, just be ready. We got Billy lining up also. I don't know, some Marathon Mondays, Billy, the Hell with Your Sensitivity Fridays, something like that. Hey, big shout out to Billy Perez. He's been one hell of a guy. I will say that, one hell of a guy that's helped us out a lot, during the struggles that we all have. And no better guy. Guys, I'm rambling now. So thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Right now, we're still 40 strong. So I really appreciate you. Debbie as well. Debbie Debbie Nieto from Del Rio. She's been very instrumental in helping us out here with the Rising Texan. Shout out to Debbie as well. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. 45 still strong, and we're trying to shut it down here. But be on the lookout. We might be coming out with some future projects and continuing our theme with what we're doing here is just full transparency and letting you guys know what is actually going out there and holding accountable these politicians, whether they're at the city level, at the county level, at the state level, at the congressional level. You know who we're talking about with that congressional level stuff. Hopefully, Congressman Tony Gonzalez, we're really hoping you meet with us soon. We're real interested in what you have to say about the projects you're saying you're doing and all this stuff that is out in social media. We appreciate if you can stop by. I did get a message from Heriberto Eddie Morales, our state representative, a text message, and he is willing to either come on air or meet with us sometime soon. That's going to be interesting. We have interviewed him before, so you guys tune in for that date. We did see his wife chiming in, and we may have had our facts kind of confused, mixed around, but we are going to look into that, and we appreciate you guys and appreciate our commenters that have been commenting. But that's all we have for today, guys. So you guys have yourself a wonderful Tuesday night. We're still looking for an interviewee for Wednesday. So guys, you have a small business, hit me up, send me a message. We'll run a live on tomorrow, 8:00. Let's bring light to your business. Let's see what your business is all about. Small business initiative, we can do that. Or I can, extend an invite to County Judge David Salcedo to come on our show. Judge, we'd love to hear from you after today. Well, guys, that's all I have. I really appreciate it. You guys tuning in. We were worried whenever they took down our first page, and we never thought that we'd be able to get back to the level that we're starting to get to. And it's you guys. And I wholeheartedly appreciate that. So take it for what it is. I really thank you guys for tuning in. It means a lot to me every time you take, whether it's 10 seconds or 10 minutes or the whole show, to just view my thoughts and truthful thoughts. I never say anything here intentionally to deceive. As you saw, Miss Morales came on and corrected us, and we're gonna investigate. We're gonna go ahead and bring that up and make sure that we're correct. And if we're not correct, I promise you, Miss Morales, we will come out and we will make a public apology and make it be known that we made a mistake. That's what we're not above apologizing for any mistakes that we do. All right, guys. Once again, guys, I do have to say, Rodriguez Consulting, nice little shirt that they sent out for me. It's much appreciated. Trying to get you the logo. Sorry. It's much appreciated. We appreciate them giving us a shirt and being one of our biggest sponsors. So make sure if you have any business consulting you need, you hit them up, 830-971-4068, guys. Peace out. It's time to stop listening to what have I been called? The crazy guy. The Rising Texan News, baby.